For only $5, you may be able to get access to one of the most overlooked credit unions in the country. And this is not just some basic credit union with a small savings account and a debit card. I am talking about a credit union that offers high-limit credit cards, personal loans, lines of credit, and a strategy that people use to stack multiple products with less damage to their credit report. The crazy part is, most people have never heard of it, and the people who do know about it are not talking about it loudly. Because while most people are still begging big banks for $500 or $1,000 credit limits, some members are walking into credit unions like this and positioning themselves for $20,000, $40,000, or even higher credit access. The credit union is called Justice Federal Credit Union. And in this video, I am going to break down exactly how it works, how regular people can join, how the $5 membership works, why this credit union is different from most banks, how their credit cards work, how their line of credit works, how the personal loan fits into the strategy, and most importantly, how to build the relationship the right way before you apply. Because this is the part most people get wrong. They find a credit union, they rush to apply, they get a low approval, then they blame the credit union. But the real problem is not always the bank. The real problem is how they position their profile before applying. By the end of this video, you will understand how to approach Justice Federal Credit Union the smart way, so you are not just applying blindly and hoping for the best. So let's get into it. Justice Federal Credit Union has been around for a long time. It was originally built around the justice, law enforcement, and public safety community. That is why many people hear the name and immediately think, I cannot join this. They assume they need to work for the government. They assume they need to be in law enforcement. They assume they need to be connected to the FBI, Department of Justice, or some public safety agency. But here is the part most people miss. You may still be able to join even if you are a regular civilian. Justice Federal has membership pathways connected to organizations and supporters of the law enforcement and public safety community. So instead of thinking, I do not qualify, the first thing you should do is check the eligibility page and see which membership path applies to you. In many cases, joining is not as complicated as people think. And once you are eligible, you usually need to open a basic savings account to establish membership. That small deposit is what gets your foot in the door. This is why the $5 number matters. It is not because $5 magically gets you approved for credit. It does not. The $5 simply helps establish the membership relationship. That relationship is what gives you access to the credit union's products. And that is where the real opportunity starts. Now, before you apply for anything, understand this clearly. Opening a membership account is different from applying for credit. Joining the credit union is one step. Applying for a credit card, loan, or line of credit is another step. Do not confuse the two. A lot of people open an account and immediately think they are guaranteed a high limit approval. That is not how this works. Credit unions still review your profile. They still look at your credit. They still care about your income. They still look at risk. And if your report is messy, if your utilization is high, if you have recent late payments or collections, your result can be completely different from someone with a clean profile. So the first lesson is this: membership gives you access. Your credit profile determines the result. Now here is where Justice Federal gets interesting. A lot of people like this credit union because of how they handle credit products. Many credit unions pull from one specific bureau, when reviewing applications. With Justice Federal, the common strategy people discuss is around Equifax. The reason that matters is because if you know which report a lender is likely to review, you can prepare that report before applying. This is where people make their first big mistake. They check Credit Karma. They check one score. They think they are ready. But the lender may be looking at a totally different bureau. So if your Equifax report has high utilization, recent inquiries, old negatives, or inaccurate information, you need to know that before you apply, because one bureau can look clean while another bureau looks weak. That is why before applying to any credit union, you should pull all three reports: Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, then see which one needs work. If Justice Federal is going to review Equifax, your Equifax profile needs to be ready. Not just your Experian, not just your TransUnion. Equifax now, another reason people talk about Justice Federal is the application window. Some members report that after a hard pull is done for one credit product, that same pool may be usable internally for a certain period of time. This is where the stacking strategy comes from. Instead of applying for one card today, another loan next month, and another product later with separate inquiries, people try to apply within the same internal window. The goal is simple: take one inquiry. Then use that one review to apply for multiple products. For example, someone may apply for a credit card first. Then after approval, they may ask about a line of credit. Then they may ask about a personal loan. Now, does that mean everyone should do this? No. And does that mean everyone will get approved for everything? Absolutely not. But this is the strategy people pay attention to. Because if the credit union allows multiple products to be reviewed using the same pool, that can be much more efficient than taking multiple hard inquiries across different lenders. But before you even think about stacking products, you need to understand the actual products. Let's start with the credit cards. Justice Federal offers Visa credit cards, and the reason people pay attention to them is because they can come with strong credit limits and intro offers. A lot of big banks advertise flashy cards, but then approve people for small limits. Credit unions can sometimes be different. They may care more about the relationship, the member profile, and the full financial picture. That is why credit unions are popular among people who understand credit building. Justice Federal's card offers have included things like no annual fee, intro APR promotions, and competitive APR ranges after the intro period. Now, this is important. Always check the current offer before applying. Do not rely on old videos. Do not rely on screenshots. Do not rely on someone's comment section. Credit card terms change. APR changes. Promotions change. Eligibility changes. So before you apply, go directly to Justice Federal's website and check the current card disclosures. But the main reason these cards are interesting is simple. If you can get approved for a strong limit, that one card can help your overall credit profile. A higher limit can help your utilization. A strong credit union relationship can give you access to future products. And an intro APR offer can give you flexibility if you know how to use it responsibly. But let me be clear, do not use a 0% offer as an excuse to overspend. That is how people get trapped. A 0% intro APR is a tool, not free money. If you use it for a purchase, you need a plan to pay it off before the promotional period ends. If you transfer debt, you need a payoff plan. If you use cash access or any loan product, you need to understand the cost. Because the goal is not to get credit and ruin your life. The goal is to get credit and use it strategically. Now let's talk about the line of credit. This is one of the products that makes credit unions powerful. A personal line of credit is different from a personal loan. A personal loan gives you a lump sum. You borrow the money, you repay it over time. But a line of credit is more flexible. You can draw from it when needed, pay it back, then use it again. It works more like a revolving credit cushion. This can be useful for emergencies, business cash flow, home projects, or situations where you do not want to drain your bank account all at once. But again, this only helps if you use it wisely. A line of credit can give you flexibility, but if you max it out with no repayment plan, it can create another problem. That is why I like to think of it as a backup tool. Not spending money, not lifestyle money, not vacation money, a backup tool. Now let's talk about the personal loan. A personal loan can be useful when you need a fixed amount of money and a structured repayment plan. People use personal loans for debt consolidation, major purchases, emergency expenses, or putting capital in their hands. But the biggest mistake people make is borrowing just because they can. Do not do that. If you are applying for a personal loan, you should know exactly why you need it. You should know the payment. You should know the term. You should know the APR. You should know how it affects your debt to income ratio. And you should know whether it actually improves your situation. For example, if you use a personal loan to consolidate high interest credit card debt into a lower fixed payment, that can make sense. But if you use a personal loan to pay off cards and then run the cards back up again, you did not fix anything. You only moved the debt. So, the product is not the problem. The behavior is the problem. Now here is where people get the strategy wrong. They focus too much on the credit products and not enough on the relationship. Justice Federal is a credit union. Credit unions are member-owned institutions. That means they can care about more than just your score. They may look at how long you have been a member, how you use your accounts, whether you have direct deposit, whether you keep money in the account, whether you move money in and out responsibly, whether you actually bank with them or only showed up to ask for credit. This is called relationship banking. And this is where a lot of people lose. They open the membership account, they leave $5 in it, they never use it. Then they apply for a high limit card and wonder why the approval is weak. You cannot expect relationship treatment without building the relationship. So here is a smarter way to approach it. Open the savings account. Open a checking account too if it makes sense for you. Fund the account. Set up some type of direct deposit if possible. Use the debit card. Move money through the account. Keep a positive balance. Avoid overdrafts. Let the account age. Then apply when your credit profile and internal relationship both look stronger. This does not guarantee approval, but it makes more sense than applying on day one with no internal history. And this is the difference between people who get small approvals and people who give themselves a better chance at bigger approvals. It is not always luck, it is preparation. Now let's talk about what your credit profile should look like. If you are trying to get the best results from a credit union like this, you need to come in with a strong profile. You want your score to be in a healthy range. A 700 plus profile is obviously stronger. Mid to high 600s can still be workable depending on the rest of the file. But if you are in the low 600s with recent negatives, high balances and weak history, you should probably slow down. Do not rush the application. Fix the profile first. Here is what you want before applying. No recent late payments, no active collections, no recent charge-offs. low utilization, stable income, clean banking history, a few positive accounts reporting, and not too many recent inquiries. Utilization matters a lot. If your credit cards are maxed out, that makes you look risky, even if you make good money. Even if your score is decent, high utilization can hurt approvals and limits. A good target is under 30%. A stronger target is closer to 10%. And if you are applying for high limit credit, the cleaner the better. Now let's talk about income. For higher limit products, lenders may ask for proof of income. That could mean pay stubs, tax returns, bank statements, or other documentation depending on your situation. Do not exaggerate your income. Do not guess. Do not put numbers you cannot prove. Because if the lender asks for verification and your documents do not match, the application can fall apart. The goal is not to trick the lender. The goal is to look like a low-risk borrower. That means clean report, stable income, low utilization, good relationship, and realistic applications. Now here is the order I would use if I were building this strategy. Step 1. Check eligibility. Make sure you can join Justice Federal through an approved membership path. Step 2. Open the basic membership savings account. That gets your relationship started. Step 3. Open checking if you plan to actually use the credit union. This helps build more internal activity. Step 4. Fund the accounts. Do not just leave them empty. Step 5. Let the relationship age. Give the credit union time to see activity. Step 6. Clean your Equifax report. If that is the report they are likely to review, make sure it looks strong. Step 7. Lower your utilization. Pay down balances before applying. Step 8. Prepare income documents. Have everything ready before asking for higher limits. Step 9. Apply for the main product first. Usually that would be the credit card or whichever product fits your goal. Step 10. If approved, ask about other products during the same internal review window. That is how you approach it, like a strategy, not like a random application. Now let's talk about who this is good for. This credit union may be a good fit for people who want access to strong credit products, people who want a credit union relationship, people with clean or improving credit, people who can build banking activity before applying, people who want a higher limit card, people who may need a line of credit, people who want a personal loan option, and people who understand how to use credit without abusing it. But this may not be a good fit for everyone. If your credit is currently damaged, fix that first. If you have recent missed payments, if your cards are maxed out, pay them down. If you have unpaid collections, deal with them. If you cannot prove income, prepare documentation. If you are only chasing a big limit with no repayment plan, do not apply yet. Credit is powerful, but only when it is controlled. A high limit card can help you, or it can hurt you. A line of credit can protect you, or it can tempt you. A personal loan can clean up debt, or it can create more debt. The tool is not the issue. The strategy is. Now there's one more thing people need to understand. A credit union is not just a place to borrow money. It is a relationship. If you treat it like a one-time application, you may get one-time results. But if you build the relationship, the future can look different. That means direct deposit. That means deposits. That means account activity. That means responsible use. That means time. Some people want instant results, but credit unions often reward patience. If your profile is not ready today, that does not mean you should ignore this credit union. It may mean you open the account now, build a relationship, and apply later. That can be much smarter, because 90 days of preparation can change the outcome. In 90 days, you can lower utilization. You can remove or correct inaccurate items. you can build account activity, you can save money inside the account, you can prepare income documents, you can study the products, you can apply with a plan instead of emotions. And that is what separates serious applicants from people who just chase approvals. Now here is the part I need you to hear clearly. Do not apply just because you saw a big number in a video. Someone else getting $40,000 does not mean you will get $40,000. Someone else getting approved does not mean you will get approved. Someone else stacking products does not mean your profile can handle it. Credit approvals depend on your report, income, relationship, debts, history, and lender guidelines. So use this information as a strategy, not a guarantee. If you do it the right way, Justice Federal can be a strong credit union to look into. But if you rush it with a weak profile, you may waste the opportunity. Now let's quickly recap the strategy. First, check if you are eligible to join. Second, open the membership savings account. Third, consider opening checking if you want to build a stronger relationship. Fourth, fund the account and use it. Fifth, clean up your Equifax report. Sixth, lower your utilization. Seventh, prepare your income documents. Eighth, apply when your profile actually looks ready. Ninth, if approved, ask about other products during the same review window. And 10th, only borrow what you can responsibly manage. That is the smart way to use a credit union like this. Not chasing debt, not pretending credit is income, not applying blindly, but building access, building relationships, and using credit as a tool. Because the people who win with credit unions are usually not the people who rush. They are the people who prepare. They understand the lender. They understand the bureau. They understand the product. They understand the relationship. And they understand their own credit profile. So if you have been stuck with low limit cards from big banks, this may be a credit union worth researching. But before you apply, look at your own report first, because everything I just showed you becomes much harder if your credit profile still has negatives holding you back. A 620 profile and a 720 profile are not treated the same. A person with recent late payments and maxed out cards will not look the same as someone with clean history and low utilization. That is why credit repair and credit preparation matter before applying. So before you chase a high limit card, fix the foundation, clean the report, lower the balances, build the relationship, then apply with a strategy. That is how you give yourself the best chance to walk into a credit union like Justice Federal and get a result that actually makes sense. And if you want to learn how to prepare your credit profile before applying for high limit credit unions, watch this video next, because I break down the exact steps to clean up your report, lower utilization, and position yourself before you apply.